As aspirations go, aiming to bring a halt to a 9-match losing streak is at the modest end of the spectrum, but Darren Moore at least achieved that with a draw against Swansea in his first match as caretaker manager. Having sat lame on 20 points since January 20th, West Bromwich Albion finally nudged their total up by 1 in a performance that exhibited a pride scandalously absent from the fag end of Alan Pardew's tenure. West Brom could have even been celebrating only a 4th Premier League victory of the season, having taken the lead through a J. Rodriguez goal that gives further evidence to thoughts he will be one player who attracts top-flight interest when relegation is confirmed. Tammy Abraham's equaliser 16 minutes from time salvaged a barely deserved point for Swansea, who stay ahead of the curve for Premier League survival. Abraham had not scored in the league since making his England debut in November, and the pause of close to 6 months was long overdue a revival. Swansea were far from impressive, however, and will need to be much better in the final 5 games to ensure the assumed safety mission by Carlos Carvalho reaches a satisfying conclusion. That eventuality has long since passed by West Brom, who have now seen 20 points slip away from leading positions. The Hawthorns was a wholesome place, at least after the toxic venue it had become under Pardew. The presence in the dugout of Moore, a popular player of the boing boing years in the early 2000s, saw to that. There were cries of a wave from Big Dave, his nickname, from before kickoff. Moore became the 4th man to pick a West Brom team this season after Tony Pulis, Gary Megson, and Pardew, and the absence of Johnny Evans from the lineup initially sparked speculation the 43-year-old might possess more of a clinical edge than his gentle exterior suggests. But Evans had picked up a knock in training and was ruled out through injury, meaning James McLean came into the side in a switch to 4-4-2. Carvalho started the same team that began the second period at Old Trafford last weekend, with half-time substitutes Tammy Abraham and Tom Carroll retaining their places. But there was an alarming lack of urgency about Swansea as West Brom asserted themselves instead. Chris Brunt let fly with a zinger that Łukasz Fabianski wisely chose to punch rather than try to catch, and the goalkeeper produced an even better save on the stroke of half-time, reacting sharply to palm away a fierce strike from J. Rodriguez following Craig Dawson's knockdown. Swansea's only chance was an excellent one, coming 5 minutes before the interval after Sam Clucas had opened up West Brom through a 1-2 with Abraham. Clucas fed Andre Ayew, who had space to shoot but poked the ball wide when he ought to have at least tested Ben Foster. That attack was the exception rather than the rule for Carvalho's team, who once again seriously missed Jordan Ayew. The striker's suspension has now ended at least, and his name will be first on the team sheet for next Saturday's visit by Everton. West Brom's supporters were chanting for another centre-forward at the break, when Bob Taylor walked the perimeter of the pitch as part of a charity group. "Get your boots on," sang the Smethwick end. 9 minutes into the second period though, and J. Rodriguez showed there are some in current West Brom's team who can still do it. Salomon Rondon glanced on a Matt Phillips cross and Rodriguez gambled to have the easiest tap in. Swansea complained Jake Livermore had handled in the build-up, with Clucas booked for protesting too hard, but the only offence was bad marking. Just as Moore was beginning to contemplate only a second West Brom victory since August, a familiar fault appeared. Brunt unnecessarily conceded a corner that Clucas delivered dangerously so that Abraham got the jump on Livermore to nod beyond Foster. It was Swansea's first shot on target and ended at 3:72 minutes, a run without scoring in the Premier League. For Abraham, the wait had been longer, stretching all the way back to October. Too late for an England recall, but just in time for Swansea,